A very, very old story right now is all I can say. The Nifty staged a powerful 429-point recovery from its intraday low on Monday. Despite this, it is currently hovering around a critical juncture. Today's expected gap up will take the index comfortably above its 200-day SMA. If the Nifty sustains above this for the first hour, it confirms a major trend reversal from sell on rise to buy on dips. Immediate support at 24,900. So those are some of the things you have to look at. Michael Kugelman with us this morning. He's foreign policy author and expert. Michael, great to speak with you after a while and on what is an exciting day, at least from Indian economy and markets perspective. Does the fact that this deal took so long also tell us that this has been very carefully scrutinized? Every I dotted, every T crossed. I'm asking this in the context of previous deals that the United States has struck and then moved back on shortly after.
Yeah, well, you're very right that this deal was a long time coming, and it's hard to believe it's been almost a year since President Trump hosted Prime Minister Modi at the White House and they pledged to pursue a trade deal. Here we are, almost a year later, and I think that one reason why it took a long time was because there have been unexpected tensions in the U.S.-India relationship. But you're right. I mean, I think also it was important for negotiators on both sides to make sure that neither side was going to give up more than they had to, and you had very tough negotiators on both sides for sure. But at the end of the day, this is a deal that I think both sides, both governments concluded they had to make. Right? There was too much to be lost for not getting a deal, but there was good reason to think, given what's happened in recent weeks, that there might not be a deal. Particularly after we heard from a very senior U.S. official that Prime Minister Modi missed out on a chance to finalize a deal when he declined to call President Trump. Of course, that's something that the Indian government has disputed, but plenty of reasons to think there wouldn't be a deal. So I think this is a major victory, certainly for the U.S. and India, and let's hope that this could allow their relationship to get back on track in the coming months.
You study this very closely, and so therefore the question to you, and this is something that you can provide as context perhaps to our audience sitting here in India, how do you read the way that foreign policy and trade negotiations were conducted from the Indian perspective, especially in light of so many countries that struck deals early on with the US?
Well, I mean, these countries that got deals with the U.S. early on, they essentially made all the concessions they were asked to make. They gave in to U.S. demands. Now, of course, as we know, India's government did make a number of concessions to the U.S. side. It agreed early on to reduce a number of tariffs. It eliminated a number of tariffs. There are other things that it agreed to do at perhaps some potential political costs, such as bringing back a number of undocumented Indian workers in the United States. Not to mention, India had been doing things for the last few years that should have made the U.S. recognize that India was working hard to address this trade deficit. India has been increasing its imports of American oil for quite some years. It's been increasing its imports of American goods on the whole. But that wasn't enough, of course. India did put its foot down. There were certain red lines it had, such as not agreeing to open up access to especially sensitive sectors like agriculture and dairy. And I don't know if I suspect that didn't change with this deal that came through. But bottom line is that India was patient. It held its ground. It made the concessions it felt it needed to make. But at the same time, it held its ground and respected its red lines. And in the end, it was rewarded because it did get the deal that it really wanted to get. And, as a result, the tariffs, have come down a significant degree. Of course, 18% tariffs are not exactly low, but given that they've been 50% before, that's clearly a major achievement for Indian negotiators.
By the way, must say that while the gold and silver are partying as well, or celebrating this whole up move, if you will, or this deal that has been struck between India and the US, because those commodities are also flying high. Michael, the question though is really this, and I don't know, I know you may not be an equities expert per se, but usually things on most asset classes or most subjects revolve around sentiment, revolve around there not being, or there being certainty. In some sense, do you believe that in a world wherein, sure, decisions get changed every month or every second month, But the fact that this has come after months of negotiation means that uncertainty has finally been reset, and this certainty might change the sentiment towards India meaningfully. I don't know if you have a thought around this.
Yeah, certainly not an equities expert, but absolutely your point about the issue of uncertainty is critical. I don't think that the element of uncertainty has been completely removed. I mean, yes, we now know there's certainty that there's a deal, and presumably we'll have some type of formal statement or formal announcement that goes beyond social media posts. But you do have that deal. But President Trump is very unpredictable, and because he's unpredictable, that means that one really cannot be certain about much in any type of context. But the fact that we have this deal, I think, should clearly be reassuring to investors and to markets. And as I said, in terms of diplomatic and geopolitical implications as well, it should provide some momentum for the two countries to work toward addressing other tensions, which could, in due course, open up more opportunities for more commercial and trade cooperation, which clearly would be perceived well by investors in the markets as well. So all in all, I think a really good day for the U.S. and India, and a good day for the markets as well.
You said it, and I think a lot of people are going to be saying that today. Michael, thanks so much for taking the time. Pleasure speaking with you.